Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amrutangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Lord, please lead us from unreality to the reality, ignorance to the knowledge, and from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. Dear devotees, recently we had a Dol Purnima, that is a festival of colors, holy festival, and apart from that, that is also the birthday of the a great saint or the prophet, that is Swami Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is a great person indeed. So if you see, the Buddhism entered, or the Buddhism covered greater part of India, especially the east and the northern part of India. South, it didn't come much, not to that extent. And it also entered to the Bengal. Interestingly, the Tantras got, Buddhism absorbed Tantras, and a new system or a new school of philosophy, which is called Vajrayana, which is predominantly, which we see in Tibetan Buddhism, Vajrayana. Dalai Lama belongs to that the school. It started. Then, though it started initially good, but slowly, unfortunately, because of the weak mind and because of the desires, the same tantric practices and as well as Buddhism involved in that. So because of that, backdoor practices in the name of religion, it became very prevalent. So using the spirituality, using the philosophy to satisfy one's materialistic needs, rather sense gratification or sexual contentment, all these things came into practice in the eastern part of India in those days, unfortunately. So the mankind or the people in those areas' mind had come down. So there was a spiritual energy, spiritual personality was required again to uplift the entire mankind or the masses. That is a one side. And the other part of India, if you see, Mughals had invaded and Mughals started ruling. Everywhere Hindu temples were shattered and Hindus were in a fearful condition. And as a result, a lot of unwanted religious customs had creeped in India to protect the culture, to protect the woman, to protect the country. So basically, the India was in a terrible shock because of the foreign invasion. Earlier also, there used to be wars between kingdoms, but the wars used to happen, but the old people, children, women were not targeted, more or less. But when the Mughals came, Muslims came, they started by hook or crook. They want to win. And after winning, they used to use the ladies in a different way. So it was a terrible shock for the India. So the India was struggling for its existence politically, as well as culturally, as well as spiritually. At this given point of time, in this danger and challenging situation, the Bhakti movement swayed over across the India. From Himalayas to the Kanyakumari, this side from Gujarat or Pakistan in those days, of course, from Pakistan to the present Bengal and the northern part of India, northern east till Burma, Myanmar, I mean to say, Nepal including and all. So galaxy of saints, especially from the Bhakti movement, from the devotion movement came in. They came, they led the life, and they preached the devotion, the love towards God. And because of that, the India and Indian culture, Indian wisdom was able to somehow sustain and maintain. So the Bhakti movement contribution to the India in the medieval age, during the Renaissance, Western Renaissance time, or in the Dark Ages, which we call in the Western civilizations, during those times, India was able to sustain themselves, or Indians were able to breathe, or will be able to hold on to their culture and the religion because of the Bhakti movement. So this is the Indian scenario and Bengal scenario. Again, let me come. Now, because of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, He was a born, I think, in the previous year, in the same time, I did discuss about his life and his devotional practices and all. He was a great Pandit and he was a great scholar in Nyaya, that is Indian Silogism. And he was a great philosopher and all. And though initially he started from the Advaita Vedanta in Guru called Ishwarapuri, afterwards slowly he deviated. Rather, he gave his own philosophy through his teachings, of course. Through his teachings, he gave his own philosophy, which in later period it came as Gaudiya Vaishnavism or Achintya Bhedabheda. I will go to in detail in slowly. Now, the worshippers of the Shiva are called Shaktas. Sorry, Shaivas. The worshipper of the Divine Mother or Shakti is called Shaktas. And the worship of the Lord Vishnu or Lord Narayana or Krishna, they are called Vaishnavits. Now, broadly, there are four sampradayas, four traditions with this Vaishnava sampradayas. One is called Sri Sampradaya, Sri tradition. Sri tradition, that is the Ramanujites, which is Vishishtadvaitins, qualified Manoish. And the other is called Rudra Sampradaya, the tradition by name Rudra. Then Vallabhacharya and Vishnu Swami, they are the acharyas, teachers of this tradition, where Shuddhadvaita, purified non-dualism, it seems, it came into picture in later days. Then the other is called Kumar Sampradaya, Nimbarkacharya, in the western part of the India. He gave this, and it is called Dvaita Advaita, duality in non-duality, a duality come non-duality. That is the one. And the fourth one is called Brahma Sampradaya, where Madhvacharya from southern part of India and the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the eastern part of India, both of them, they belong to the Brahma Sampradaya. So this Gaudiya Vaishnavism, which is called, because it is a Vaishnavism, which came from Gaur, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's another name is Gauranga. So because it's from Gaur or it came from Gauda Pradesha, that is called, it is Gaudiya Vaishnavism. So Gaudiya, it is basically either from person or it is referring to the geography. And this Gaudiya Vaishnavism, technically, it belongs to Brahma Sampradaya. Okay. Now, in India, if anyone has to establish his own system of philosophy or school of philosophy, especially in the Advaita Veda, in Vedanta schools, he has to write his own commentaries on three principal texts. That is called Prasthanatraya. Prasthana means text or path, Traya means three. Three paths or three principal texts. What are those? One is Bhagavad Gita. That is called Smriti Prasthana. The second is Upanishads. 10 major Upanishads are there. If not all major Upanishads, he has to write. The third is Brahma Sutra, Nyaya Prasthana, syllogism, which is written by Vyasa. So on these three texts, if you write your independent commentary, and if you establish your system of philosophy or school of philosophy, then you are termed as Acharya. Now, interestingly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't write commentary on any of these things. When one of his disciples questioned him, he said, there is a Bhagavata Mahapurana, Bhagavata, that itself is a commentary on the Upanishads, which is written by Vyasa. So I don't think anything else is required. We shall follow it. But well, later, his disciples has written commentaries on all of them. So in that way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is an incarnation prophet, no doubt, but we cannot technically call him as an Acharya, because he didn't write any commentaries. Based on his teachings, based on his conversations, based on his utterances, later period, his disciples have written commentaries and a school of philosophy has been established. And there are scholars who also argue that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy, technically it follows the Madhvacharya's Dvaita Sampradaya. But there are some people also, some scholars, they won't accept. Now, today's interesting topic, that is Achintya Bheda Abheda philosophy. Achintya means illogical or inconceivable. Bheda, that is difference. Abheda is non-difference. So incomprehensible difference, incomprehensible identity in difference. It is very tricky word, and it is bit probably some of you might find difficulty. So before going to that intellectual thing or explaining that their core philosophy, I will explain their main tenets. Then I will come to the picture to this concept. Now you see, the classical philosophy, if he has to teach, anyone has to teach, mainly they has to dwell upon three topics. Broad canvas, these are the main three topics everyone has to answer. What is the three topics? One is individual self. Who am I? Or who is an individual being? Like the nature of the self. Whether it is one or a multiple or a two or one or multiple, or whether real or not, whether the nature of the self, the nature of the Atman, all these things has to be explained. So basically, nature of the self, what it is. The second is, what about this world, mundane world which we see, universe? What is the nature of it? Who created it? How it was created? When it was created? And what is the nature of this empirical world has to be explained. The third is the supreme reality, that is God, you can say, or Brahman, or Parabrahman, Narayana, Shiva, whatever name you can say, you may call. So the third is supreme reality. What is the nature of supreme reality? And the internal connections are connections between among them, connection between the supreme reality and individual self, the supreme reality and the world, the the living individual self with the God and with the world and among the individual beings. All these things has to be explained. Now, before going into that, there's a one verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita, which gives their basic tenets of the philosophy, especially. What is this? Gnanam paramaguhyam me yad vignana samanvitam sa rahasyam tadangancha grahana garitam maya. Lord Krishna is simultaneously one with and different from his energies. And this is the inconceivable nature of his existence. So, this is one of the main shloka on which their whole philosophy is depending upon. I will slowly explain now. Now, as I told, the philosophy has to explain three tenets or three items, 3 points, three entities. Now, let me take the first one, that is the nature of the individual self. According to this Achintya Bhedabheda or Gaudiya Vaishnavism, what is the nature of individual self? Nature of a being. So according to them, if you remember Advaita Vedanta, we all accept there is only one self. And then what about the so many people? It is only reflections. Just like you keep 100 buckets of water and evening now, then slowly moonlight comes. Now if you see in the moonlight, we will be seeing 100 moons actually in the 100 buckets of water. Does it mean, can we infer 100 moons are there? No. We all know that there's only one moon, but we are able to see 100 moons because of the reflection. So similarly, we have got one self because so many reflecting mediums are there like bodies. That's why we've got so many beings. Now, whereas now Gaudiya Vaishnavism says there are n number of beings. Like say, for an example, there are 100 billion beings if you are there. Animals, birds, reptiles, living beings, human beings, everyone included, or maybe 1,000 billions. So 1,000 individual selves are there. So the first and foremost, the nature of jiva, if you say multitude of beings, many jivas has been accepted by this Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Okay. Now, what about the nature of individual self? Individual self is unique and distinct from each individual. Like I am different from you, X is different from Y is different from G. X is unique in its own way, and X is different from Y. Y is unique in its own way, and Y is different from Z. So that is what they understand. And what about that at the time of mukti? Now, when we experience our real nature, the so-called individuality will loses its existence according to the Advaita Vedanta. Now, what about them? So they say, even after the mukti, emancipation, the self holds retains its uniqueness forever. So that has never, it will never be erased, or it will never be diminished. So even in the liberation, after the liberation, the jiva doesn't lose its identity. It continues eternally and it serves Sri Krishna, it seems, according to them. So the individuality of the jiva or individual being, it exists eternally. Even after the emancipation, the jiva, the individual being, will be feel happy to serve Sri Krishna. Okay. Now, the interesting thing is, all the jivas are part of the nature, part of Sri Krishna. All the jivas are part of Sri Krishna, no doubt. And all the individuals, they share the same essentials called Satchitananda. That's why they say there is an identity. Identity between Supreme Self and individual self. Why? Because we are part and parcel of the Krishna, which is nothing but Satchidananda. So there is an identity between Krishna and the individual self called Jiva. Okay. Why? Because we are all made up of Sri Krishna's spiritual nature. But we are not Krishna himself. Now in Advaita Vedanta, if you see, we say Tattvamasi, you are that. So essentially, there is no difference between individual self and supreme self. That's what Advaita Vedanta speaks. Now, Gaudiya Vaishnavism takes a very unique step or unique stand. We are the individual beings are part of the Krishna, which is a supreme reality. But at the same time, the individual beings can never become the Krishna himself. In this sense, they say there is an identity in difference, identity and as well as difference. And they give a simple example like the spark and the fire. Now there's a huge fire. For an example, bonfire has been lit. In the fire, there will be a small spark comes out. Now, where did the spark comes from? The spark comes from the fire. We all know that. But is the spark is fire? No. The spark can never be fire. So that is what their argument. So, and there are, and example also we can say that now there are different rivers. There is a river, Ganga river, Krishna river, Tungabhadra river, Kaveri river, Brahmaputra river, Sutlej, Indus. There are so many rivers. Now, all of them are one or different. We will say all of them are one. How? Because everything, all the rivers have got water as the content. So all of them, as from that angle, they are one. But at the same time, because of the geography and whatever the reason, the taste of the Krishna water and the taste of a Ganga water is different. The taste of Ganga water and the taste of Sutlej water is different, for whatever the reasons may be. So as a result, they are unique and they are different also. From the water content, they are all one, but they have got their own unique nature, unique qualities. As a result, they are different. That is what their understanding or their statements. Okay. Then jivas are in different conditions according to them. One is one type of jivas, individual beings. There are nitya muktas. They are eternally liberated. They are always staying in the with Krishna and they are serving him. And second is most of the embodied souls. They are nitya baddha, means they are conditioned souls. So they are caught in this vicious cycle of birth and death, and they are choosing between Krishna and Maya, whatever say, or rather, they're in bondage and they're unable to get liberated. So if you surrender at the feet of Krishna and by the grace of Shri Krishna and by devotion, you can get liberated. And the third type, they say Tatastha Shakti, that is marginal energy, which is very interesting and important. Individual beings or the jivas, embodied souls, have got a free will, choose between Krishna or the world, Krishna or and his Maya. I can select Krishna and I can take the path of devotion and I can reach Krishna. And we say, Krishna is there once in a while, let me remember him morning and evening. Rest of the time, I am busy with my world. Oh, why didn't you come? Oh, Swamiji, I'm busy, Swamiji. I didn't have the time to come to ashram, though I wanted to come. I mean, I'm not saying any judge, I'm not passing any judgmental statement here. So people say they are busy. Of course, it is indeed. So they don't have time to come to God. They don't have come to the spiritual places. That doesn't mean that they're not spiritual. They don't have a time. So it is a free will. You can choose God or you can choose world, and you can choose both also sometimes. And how one can attain mukti, emancipation? They say it is through devotion and devotion alone. And in the liberation, they have got 5 types of liberation. What is one is salokya. Salokya means salokya. Loka means world. So when you are living in the world where the Krishna is living, either it is called Goloka or Vaikunta, that is called salokya. Like Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana, Sanat Kumara, they are staying there. And the second is Sarupya. So attaining a spiritual form similar to Krishna, it seems. Like Narada had got a similar form like Krishna. So that's why it is called Sarupya. Rupa means form, Sarupya means similar form. Then the third is Samipya. Samipa means near. If you are staying near God, that is called Samipya. Like Arjuna, Nanda, Yashoda, the gopis, they are all staying near Krishna. So they have attained this type of liberation, emancipation called Samipya. The fourth is Sarstri, means sharing Krishna's divine appearances. Dhruva, they give example. And interestingly, the last one is Sayujya. Sayujya is merging into Krishna's effulgence. So not merging into Krishna, merging into Krishna's effulgence. And interestingly, they feel probably they want to attack Advaita Vedanta. That's why they say if you want to worship God in the form of non-dualism or the Nirakara Rupa, the without any form, without any qualities, which Advaita Vedanta says, that is inferior mukti, it seems. So going to Vaikunta and worshipping Krishna and going to Vaikunta is the supreme or the superior emancipation according to them. Okay, now you have understood about the nature of jiva, bondage, and liberation. Now, what about this nature of the world? So, for them, the world is real. Where Advaita Vedantins will say, the world is an appearance. World is an appearance. The Brahman is appearing as world because of its Maya Shakti, because of its elusive power. Now, they say that the world has been created by God and it is real. It is changing, it is temporary, but it is real. It is eternally changing and it is eternally temporary or temporary eternal and it is real. And this world, universe or universes has been created by the Lord, but all of them, and the universe is under his control absolutely. But still, this world is distinct from him. Now, the world and the Brahman, if you see in Advaita Vedanta, no, there is no change actually. There is no difference. But for them, the world and the God, there are two different things. The world has been created by God, and he is the controller, he is the ruler of this world, no doubt. But the world is not the God, or the God is not the world. And world has been created by God, and it expands in different stages, it seems. And how? With the help of 3 energies. This Lord, Supreme Reality, Lord Krishna, has got 3 main energies. One is Swarupa Shakti, that is internal energy. Through internal energy, the spiritual world called Vaikunta, Goloka, these are been created. And there is called Jiva Shakti, marginal energy, by which souls can choose Krishna or Maya. And the third type of energy is called Maya Shakti, external energy, by which this world has been created. And how this, okay, the world has been created by the God, okay, how this has been created? If you say, interestingly, we all think Krishna is one of the incarnation of the Vishnu. Now, according to the Gaudiya Vaishnavism, it is not so. Vishnu is one of the incarnation of Krishna. So Krishna is the supreme reality. Vishnu is one of the incarnation of the Krishna. So at the time of creation, Krishna expands and one form has been created or has been manifested is called Mahavishnu, who lies in the causal ocean or cosmic ocean. And he breathes out the universe from his navel or from his pores. And when he wants to end the creation, he inhales the creation, it seems. Basically, God has created, which any Semitic religions, they say in a different form, and the dualistic schools of Vedanta, they say similarly, he also says. So, and this Lord Vishnu, he breathes out, and this world has been created, and he appoints the Brahma. Brahma, which is the Lord of creation, which we speak in, and he has been empowered to take care of this world and to, I mean, to take care of the creation of the planets, bodies, species, and etc. And interestingly, this all we can understand. Krishna enters into the every being as an antaryami, as a Paramatma. So world is real, it is eternally changing, and it is temporary. Okay, and it has been created by his breathing out, and when he breathes in, the whole world gets dissolved. Okay, now now you understand, I think, nature of the jiva, individual self, nature of the world you understood, and nature of the supreme reality, that is Sri Krishna, we shall understand. According to them, Krishna is the only supreme reality. Krishna is the only supreme reality with a definite form and with definite attributes. Sorry, with a form and with attributes. So, Sakara, Saguna, Paramatma or Parabrahma. Sakara, he has got a form. He can take multiple forms, but Krishna has got a form. And he has got indefinite attributes, qualities, attributes, and all, but he has got attributes, definite attributes. So, Sakara, Saguna, Parabrahma. Okay. He possesses, his nature is what? Interestingly, they say he possesses oneness with difference. And what is his nature? Is oneness with difference, and his nature is Achintya, inconceivable. Because though he is fully personal, he is all powerful, he is ultimate object of devotion, but we cannot comprehend who he is. We may say there are Vishnu Sahasranam, 1,000 names of Krishna. Bhagavata is explaining about the nature of Krishna. There are so many scriptures explaining the nature of Krishna. That's all fine, but still, exactly, completely, we cannot understand him. That's why he is Achintya. Okay. He is both personal and is impersonal. But his personal form is the highest truth according to them. So he is Sat, he is Chit, and he is Ananda. So, what do we mean by Sat according to them? Sat means here eternal and unchanging. God is eternal, God is unchanging. Now I am changing. As a Swami Shantivratananda, there is a change in the Shantivratananda, like everyone in this world and all. But Krishna, though he has got a form, but it is eternal and there is no change in his form. And is beyond time and space. Now we are all not beyond time and space. We are all inside time and space. We are all bound by time and space. Now, Lord Krishna is beyond time and space. And he appears in the world by his own will. Now, did I come to this world by my own will? No. I am forced to come because of my previous actions. Oh, I am not interested. This will be last worth, and I don't want to come. If you say, then they say, okay, you then either realize God or realize self, your own nature. Till then, you have got no option. You have to come. But in the Krishna, it is his choice. If he wills, he will come. If he doesn't will, if he doesn't wish, then he need not to come. Okay. Now, Chit part. Chit is when we say God is Sat Chit Ananda, Sat we understand. Now Chit means he is the source of all knowledge and is the conscious of everything in the universe, which we understand. Ananda, Ananda means Krishna is not only all powerful, he is attractive, he is with full of bliss. Even Karshati iti Krishna. The etymological meaning of Krishna is what? One who attracts is what Krishna itself. That's why if you see in the Bhagavata Purana, when we read that, everyone was attracted by Krishna. People may know who is he, who is not, they may not know. But when they see Krishna, everyone was attracted. Karshati, he has got a magnetic attractive power. Okay. Now you understood the nature of Jiva, individual self, nature of the world, and nature of the Supreme Self. Now, if you understand these three tenets, now we will go into the Achintya Bhedabheda, which is a bit difficult, technical, which we'll try to understand. So, what is this Achintya Bheda Abheda? That is their philosophy. The philosophy of inconceivable oneness and difference. The world itself is very juggling with the words, and it is a philosophy of inconceivable Achintya, inconceivable, Abheda, oneness, and Bheda with difference. Okay. What do you mean this? And why this philosophy, very peculiar philosophy they have got? We have got already so many philosophies, so many isms. Why they have to bring one more philosophy? And this philosophy is telling about what actually? If you say that this philosophy is trying to explain the relationship between the God, self, and the individual being. So Achintya Bhedabheda is trying to explain the relationship between or the connection between the individual self, supreme self, and the world. Okay. So first we will take supreme self. So for them, Krishna is one ultimate reality, but he is with different forms. He has got a multitude forms. Krishna is the Parabrahman, a supreme reality, and is the source of all energies. So from that point, he is one with all other things. All things are one with him, but at the same time they are different from him. That's why Chintya and this oneness and the difference is beyond logical perception, beyond the sense perception. That's why it is called Achintya. Everything is his energy, so it is one with him because everything has come from God. So that means everything is with him. So that's the reason there is an identity, abheda. There is an identity, but Krishna remains indistinct. Sorry, Krishna remains distinct from his creation and from the individual beings. He has created the universe. His power is in the universe, no doubt, but he is different from world universe. The he is staying in everyone. Like he says beautifully, I stay in everyone, but everyone doesn't stay in me. In Gita itself, we say that. That's why even Sri Ramakrishna says, that's why people, individual beings, they suffer. So this is what he's telling them. So jivas are one with Krishna and different from Krishna. Jivas are one with Krishna. Why? Because the nature of Jiva is also Sachidananda. The nature of Krishna is also Sachidananda. I mean, I'm making a very rough comparison. Or because we are part of Krishna, so we are one with Krishna, but at the same time, we are different from Krishna. Because I cannot become Krishna at any point of time. I can go near God. I can go near Krishna. I can live near Krishna. At the most, I can merge in the Krishna's effulgence, but I cannot merge in the Krishna. That's why there is an identity and difference. Okay. Now, let me go a little bit technical. What do you mean Abheda oneness? So they, according to the Gaudiya Vaishnavism, they say the individual beings are eternally part of Krishna. Just as spark comes from the fire. Sun rays comes from, light comes from the sun, or waves from the water. So similarly, we, the individual beings, we are eternally part of the Krishna. From that angle, we are one with Krishna. Okay. Then what about differences? Now, we are part of Krishna, no doubt, or we have come out from Krishna, or we are part of Krishna, no doubt, but individual beings are tiny, they are dependent, they are ignorant, and etc. Whereas Krishna is knowledgeable, is infinite, and is independent. That's why we are different. So basically, the problem of evil, to address the problem of evil, this theory might have come out according to me. They give example of sunlight and the sun. Now, sunlight comes from where? From the sun. So sunlight is a part of sun. Yes, from that point there is a oneness, but at the same time, sunlight and sun, there are two different things. So there is a difference. So same thing, like Jiva is one with and different from Krishna. Similarly, they also example, they give a explanation. World is one with Krishna and world is different from Krishna. How to understand this? The world is nothing but Krishna's energy. The Krishna, he breathed out, the whole world got out, was created. So the world is being nothing but is the form of Krishna's energy. So it comes from him. He has created this world. It has come from him. So from that angle, the world is with Krishna. There is an identity between the world and the Krishna. Okay. But at the same time, what is the nature of the world? The world is temporary. The world is external. The world is an ever changing. Whereas Krishna is eternal. Krishna is not temporary. Krishna is eternal. The world is temporary. Krishna is unchanging. The world is changing. So hence, there is a difference between Krishna and the world. So now you can understand. So because the whole world has come from Krishna, the whole world has come from Krishna, that's why it is a part of Krishna, or there's an identity between Krishna and the world. But at the same time, Krishna is eternal, the world is changing, temporary. And Krishna is unchanging, and the world is changing. As a result, there is a difference between the Krishna and the world. Now, probably you can understand how there is a why they give the very unique philosophy called Achintya, Bheda, Abheda, philosophy in identity and difference. Now, you understood I mean, how oneness is there, how difference is there, they say. We understand now. Now, how the oneness and difference can coexist? Oneness and difference, how can it coexist at the same place or with the same radius and with the same connection? If you say, they say, Achintya, it is the nature of Achintya. It is the nature of unconceivable. It is not, it is illogical. Illogical means it is not illogical. Illogical means it is not illogical. It cannot be comprehended by any human mind. It cannot be comprehended by our sense organs. It cannot be comprehended by our human intellect. That's why it is called Achintya. So then how it has been understood? Oh, it has been understood for the yogis, the people who are in the great stage, and by the grace of Krishna, and these they were able to understand, and as a result, they have given to us. So Achintya, Bheda, Bheda. So problem, I mean, I have given in a very simplified way. If you go and study all these things in a text, using the text and all, it can be a bit complex sometimes. So I've just broken this philosophy into bits and pieces, and I've tried to explain so that you'll be able to understand. And now if you see, so why, and also one more thing I was thinking, why they want to bring identity and difference both? So if you think exactly 2-3 points, which I understood is my personal observation, the problem of evil is very constant, either in the even the Islam and Christianity or in every religion. Only Advaita Vedanta is able to solve the problem in a most logical manner, according to me. And in the philosophical literature, these discussions goes on pages after pages. Anyhow, many times even people ask, if Krishna, if Lord is all compassion, why he has created this type of world where we have got problems, where we have got murders, wars, and whatnots and all. Anyhow, so here, because now when is Krishna is all perfect, Krishna is all compassionate, Krishna is all good and powerful, etc., etc., and his creation, the creation has come from him, and how can we see these mistakes and these problems and etc.? Now, how to give a logical relationship or logical explanation? That's where they say the world has come from the Lord. That's why there's an identity. At the same time, the world and the Krishna is not both are one and the same. There is a difference. So, problem of evil can be handled to a certain extent from this explanation. This is one point. The second is, I think yesterday also when I was discussing about the Leela Prasanga, Ramakrishna divine play, Sri Ramakrishna says, Gnani merges in the supreme self. So then what actually, so basically I loses my individuality, like a river is merging in the ocean. Now that means I am losing my individuality. And Sri Ramakrishna tells in a very beautiful way, in a simple way to understand, like an ant, an ant enjoys the sugar because ant is separate from sugar. If, for example, from the yogic power, okay, I had a yogic power, I touched the ant, and ant became sugar. Because ant likes sugar, so I touched the ant became sugar. Now, ant can no more enjoy the sugar because it has become sugar. So, when there is a separation like ant and sugar, then only ant can enjoy sugar. When I am separate, when I'm feeling separate, then only I can enjoy the world. I can enjoy any object, anything. If I feel that oneness, then I will not be able to enjoy in a sense, in a general sense. That's where they say, I and Krishna, we should be eternally separate. If I become Krishna, then I cannot enjoy the devotion. And interestingly, in Bhagavata, the story comes. Once little Krishna, probably 5 or 6 years of Krishna, aged Krishna, he blesses Mother Yashoda. And Mother Yashoda, he blesses, and Mother Yashoda sees his form. Who is that? Lord Narayana himself. Then he says, Krishna says, oh mother, I will bless you so that you will get mukti, you will get emancipation. Definitely, everyone will be happy. She should be happy. She says, no, I don't want mukti. You don't want mukti? People are doing tapas, austerity, penance, and meditation, japa for so many years, so many decades and centuries, lives. You don't want mukti? She says, no. Why? Because if I get mukti, I cannot serve you. I cannot bathe you and I cannot feed you, I cannot beat you and I cannot handle you. So, the joy as a mother looking after the uh, child, the God in the form of child, there is a joy in that. I cannot have that. As a result, I don't want mukti. You keep your mukti with yourself. I want to enjoy serving the Lord, or you in the form of Krishna. And this is the highest form of bhakti, they say in the devotional scriptures. It is called parabhakti. So the devotee, he never wants to become God. Rather, he wants to maintain his individual identity, and so that he can serve the Lord. He can stay near the Lord. He can experience the presence of the Lord, or he can feel that joy in the devotion, in serving Him, in loving Him, in helping Him in whatever way. That's also one of the very important point. Because of that, they have kept this identity and difference, the philosophy of identity and difference. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu.